All right, so we see the stat line for Caitlin Clark. She's averaging 21.6 points, 6 rebounds, 9 assists, a steal, and then if we go down, she's averaging a block as well. 5 turnovers right now, 43% from the field, 36 from the 3. What shooting that is. And then she's doing 72 from the free throw. Definitely want her to get that up. But we see the stats, right? We see the stats. Now, if we go to ESPN, Caitlin Clark is nowhere to be found. Caitlin Clark is nowhere to be found.
Caitlin Clark is making history as a rookie, but if you look at the WNBA leaderboards, it's like she's not even playing. No points, no assists, just silence. Either the league is hiding her stats on purpose, or they just don't want to give her credit. You don't just forget your most popular player, let's be real. Get ready, because we're about to break down the funny and confusing story of how the WNBA is acting like Caitlin Clark's stats don't even exist.
Clark and Reese remain 2 of the most popular players in the WNBA. However, it's Clark who holds the edge when it comes to viewership and attendance rating. When you say hold the edge, that makes it seem like it's a small margin. No. It's a severe lead. It is a significant gap between the two when it comes to viewership and attendance. Edge, not the best choice of words in this instant. Yet the Women's National Basketball Players Association, the union for current women's professional basketball players in the WNBA, recently decided against Clark. Shocker.
Just when you thought the WNBA hiding Caitlin Clark's stats was crazy enough, here comes ESPN making it worse. It's like they're trying to bury her numbers, as if showing her success is some kind of danger. You'd think the biggest sports network could handle showing real stats, especially when the most talked about rookie is actually doing great. But instead, it feels like they're turning off the lights and pretending no one's home while Caitlin is right there, about to make history.
I think she would be right in this area, number 2. And I get it, these players have played more games, cool. But fam, if that is the case, why is Caitlin Clark right here at 3 points made? Why is she right here at 3 points made? If that is the case, she would be completely off of the list, right? She would be gone, wiped off, if it was all about the games. Why is she right here? Right? This looks disingenuous, man. I'm just keeping it a grand. We know who has the most assists right now. You have Paige Beckers up here. We know who has more assists, who's averaging the most assists right now. And you have Paige Beckers right here. Come on, fam. Like, I'm just saying, man. This don't look disingenuous.
When you explore ESPN's website, it feels like a game of hide and seek. The only stats missing are Caitlin Clark's, and ESPN is acting like they just can't count. Want to see the top players in assists or scoring? Good luck, Caitlin's name is nowhere. But if you click on turnovers, suddenly, there she is, like magic, as if that's all they want to show. It's like ESPN is saying, oh, you're looking for Clark? Yeah, she's over there with the ones who mess up.
Hope to God that eventually we find out that maybe Caitlin Clark was asked to do this, and maybe she said no, because if that's not the case, then the WNBA and the Players Association, the WNBA PA, and the league, to be honest, continue to disrespect the far and away biggest draw that this women's hoops league's got that they've ever seen.
When you explore ESPN's website, it feels like a game of hide and seek. The only stats missing are Caitlin Clark's, and ESPN is acting like they just can't count. Want to see the top players in assists or scoring? Good luck, Caitlin's name is nowhere. But if you click on turnovers, suddenly, there she is, like magic, as if that's all they want to show. It's like ESPN is saying, oh, you're looking for Clark? Yeah, she's over there with the ones who mess up.
Jealousy and sheer incompetence are going to be the 3 main reasons why the WNBA never reaches the popularity, never reaches the shine that they think they deserve. Stubbornness, incompetence, and jealousy are going to be the reasons why Caitlin Clark remains at the mountaintop and nobody else ends up even being close to joining her up there. And it's all the WNBA, the players, the executives, Kathy Engelbert. It is all their fault. They're far too jealous. They're far too stubborn. And from a business sense, they are all far too incompetent. What am I talking about?
That's the stat Caitlin Clark actually earned attention for, but the way ESPN is ignoring it is just ridiculous. It's like someone at ESPN saw Caitlin Clark's name in a spreadsheet, panicked, and just hit delete. What's funny is they have fancy graphics ready anytime an NFL player does the smallest thing, like sneezing near a touchdown. But when Caitlin is getting double-doubles, playing in front of sold-out crowds, and basically carrying WNBA ratings, suddenly, she's pushed to the side like she doesn't belong. The stats are there, you can find them if you dig deep enough, click through a maze, and solve some mystery. But where most people would expect to see them, Caitlin is almost invisible, like she's not even real. Meanwhile, players with less impact and fewer fans are front and center, treated like superstars. It's not just leaving her out, it's carefully picking what to show, while pretending it's just the system. And honestly, it's kind of hilarious how obvious it is. ESPN has every tool, live stats, fancy graphics, AI projections, but somehow Caitlin Clark's numbers got lost? In what? A dusty filing cabinet run by trolls? Even the intern's posting box scores seem to be in on this "let's pretend she's not real" thing. Maybe they're just scared that if they actually show her real stats, the internet won't be able to handle it.
Come on, man. This doesn't make sense. This doesn't make sense right here, man. Angel Reese's still top dogging in rebounds. And even with Jonquel missed games. She missed some games. And she's still on the list. What's going on? What's going on with this, man? Let me see, who else? Boston doing a good job. She's in the top 5. Oh, tied number 4. Okay, I see you. Boston doing a good job. Steals. We got Gabby Williams. Gabby's been going crazy. And the feed, Asia. And then they got Paige Beckers on there. Fam, let me see. I'm going to click complete leaders. Let me see if they don't have Caitlin anywhere.
The funny part? Caitlin Clark's stats do show up, but only in the one place you wouldn't expect, the turnovers tab. It's like ESPN decided that's the only spot where she belongs. Imagine throwing a talent show and making Beyoncé sweep the floors just because someone didn't like her sparkle. Sure, ESPN will casually mention Caitlin when it fits their story, but when it's time to compare her to other players, suddenly, they act clueless. At this point, it's not just a mistake, it's starting to look like a planned disappearing act. Not one magician, but a whole crew working together to make her greatness vanish behind fake oops moments. How many times can you forget the same player before it's obvious? And let's talk about those turnovers for a second. If that's the only stat where ESPN loves to feature her, it's clear they've been waiting to use it like a gotcha moment. But here's the thing, every rookie turns the ball over. It's called learning. It's part of growing in the game. But when Caitlin Clark makes a mistake, they act like she's just throwing the ball out of bounds every other play, ignoring the fact that she's also hitting deep logo threes and doing things no other rookie is doing.
They gave the exact abuse that they're giving Caitlin Clark right now to Sabrina Ionescu. Like, let's be real, you can look. If you read what some of these things have said about Sabrina Ionescu before Caitlin Clark walked in the league, but now they have the new bully victim. And it's so funny looking at it where you're like, all these, it's so clear that these people, it's just an anti-Caitlin people, because it's like an enemy of my enemy is my friend, where it's like, they are these individual pages where you look at the players they hype up, and Paige Beckers, and by the way, by all accounts, Paige Beckers and Caitlin Clark are friends. They'll have their profile's Angel Reese, and the players they're going to hype up is Paige Beckers because she's a rival to Caitlin Clark. And let's be real, that's an actual rivalry. Paige Beckers is really.
What they won't tell you is that Caitlin Clark is running the offense like a veteran, even while getting blitzed, bumped, and nearly knocked over every night. They won't say she's leading a team that barely knew how to win before she showed up. They won't show the full story, the pressure, the playmaking, the weight of expectations. All they want to highlight is one stat, turnovers. Like that's her whole story. Let's be real, if turnovers are all you've got, you're not analyzing. You're campaigning. That's not journalism. That's throwing shade using a spreadsheet. Meanwhile, players with worse shooting, fewer assists, lower points, and way less attention somehow rise to the top of ESPN's leaderboards, like cream in a rigged coffee machine. They get praised for just showing effort. Caitlin? She's out here dropping 25-point nights, outperforming players twice her age, and getting treated like she's crashing her own party. And still, she keeps showing up. She keeps dishing out perfect passes, keeps hitting logo threes that would make Steph Curry do a double take. She's not just playing the game, she's shaping the future of the league. But ESPN? They're busy playing hide and seek with her stats, like they're afraid the truth will bite. Here's a tip: if your most watched games all have the same player, maybe act like she exists outside the turnover column. And it's not just ESPN. This sets off a chain reaction. Other networks copy the vibe. Talk shows suddenly act confused about the hype. Pundits downplay her impact. And somehow, we're living in this strange world where Caitlin Clark is the most talked about athlete in the country, but still not good enough to show up in the stat rankings.
You need to sit here and be honest. No casual fan knows who any of these players are except for maybe Angel Reese. That is pure honesty. No casual fan knows who any of these players are except for Angel Reese. WNBA old guard fans, they know who these ladies are. People who follow the league, they know who these players are. People who are responsible for the increase in viewership, who are responsible for the increase in attendance, they don't know who any of these players are except for Angel Reese and potentially Cameron Brink. Let's be honest here. Except for Angel Reese and potentially Cameron Brink. Paige Beckers, stop. Kelsey Plum, stop. Nafisa Collier, cut it out. Nafisa Collier, great player.